This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
And here we have a specimen from the early 2000s, a legacy investing platform. Please don't touch the exhibit, folks. It could crash.
Ready to step out of the financial history museum? At Public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind. Go to Public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at Public.com/disclosures.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com, ODOO.com.
Thanks to friends at Unreal, you can restock your wardrobe with Unreal Golf Apparel this year, just like Common. Register to win up to $1,000 in Unreal Golf Apparel on our contest page. One lucky winner will restock their closet with amazing golf apparel thanks to Unreal. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest to enter today.
Should be a couple of 13-14 past. I'm Common, he's Tenemy. The legendary Mark Rosen will join us here just prior to 2 o'clock. But right now, as we start the 1 o'clock hour, as always, it's time for 5, 3, 4.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1.
We're gonna win, Twins, we're gonna score.
It's now time to delve deep into Twins territory.
Crack out a home run, shout a hit, hooray! Cheer for the Minnesota Twins today.
Byron Buxton robbed a home run, hit one of his own. Harrison Bader hit a 3-run homer, and yet the Twins still lost 6-5 to the Reds last night in Cincy. Twins are now 36-36, the first time they've fallen to 500 since May 10th. They've lost 5 in a row, 9 of their past 11, and their bullpen has posted a 7.26 ERA over the past 11 games. Common, what sticks out to you from last night's loss?
That the pull-out pocket protectors were selling hope, as they do every preseason, and they tell us, we've got a deep and talented team from top to bottom, roster, bullpen, starting staff, and yeah, I know it's hard. It's hard not to get excited when you think your club's in a pretty good spot. But I always like to bring up a couple of words of caution, which I do every year. Now we're seeing what I was talking about is that, like for instance, last night Brock Stewart had to get pulled out of the game. I watched some of last night's Twins game, by the way, and. Sometimes it's like, remember that old Mounds bar in Almond Joy? Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. And it's the same thing. Sometimes your reliever has it, sometimes he don't. So you can't.
And if he doesn't, you get the women and children out of the first 5 rows in left field.
Exactly right. And he didn't have it. And so, the Twins took a lead. They were down early. The 3-run homer by Bader was pure unadulterated luck. I think it was their center fielder or the right. I think it was the center fielder.
Right fielder.
Right fielder. He kind of got himself twisted around, and the ball went right off the top of his glove. One of those where I was going to bring this up with you, Tenemy, and maybe I'll save it for the other side of the break. Because last week I saw on Web Gems, while I was watching the McAfee show here is always on, And I saw I don't know what outfielder it was, what club, but he made one of the most remarkable.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
in center field.
Yeah, he brings it back from the other side. But anyways, it reminded me of something. But last night, you saw a guy do just the opposite. He got kind of twisted around a little bit. It hit his top of his glove and bounced in for the 3-run homer. But the Twins the prosperity was too much for them to handle, and they handed it back. And you had all the numbers there. It's just been you take out, and you don't. They won 13 in a row, fair and square. You take away that 13-game winning streak. If they just go 500 in that, they're one of the worst teams in baseball record-wise. Well, maybe not one of the worst teams, but yeah, maybe so. I mean, they're already 8, 9, or did Detroit win? Did they lose more ground to the Tigers again? It's and they're not in a wild card position right now, folks.
No.
So it's and there's nothing. We don't know if Lewis is ever coming back. I mean, eventually, I suppose, but Lopez is still out. At least
Detroit beat Pittsburgh 7-3.
Okay, so we're 10 out. I believe that makes us 10 games out.
10 out.
Yeah, and so
now behind the Guardians in the standings.
Yeah, and we don't know how long Lewis will be out, and he was just starting to hit the ball again. We know Lopez is out at least until August, and maybe he won't be back until September. So it's just not looking good for the hometown nine right now.
Question number 2. It's time now for a look at the Lynx.
The Minnesota Lynx clinched a spot in the Commissioner's Cup final with a 76-62 win over the Las Vegas Aces last night at Target Center. The Lynx played most of the second half without MVP Nafisa Collier. She hurt her back. But Diamond Miller came off the bench to score 12 points on 4 of 5 shooting. And defensively, the Lynx were great. They held the Aces to 26.7% shooting in the second half. They turned 21 Aces turnovers into 27 points. Common, by the way, the Lynx will advance in the Commissioner's Cup final
on Caitlin Clark
to take on the Indiana Fever. So, 1, what are your thoughts on last night's game? And 2, could they fill the entire Target Center for that Caitlin Clark Indiana Fever Commissioner Cup final?
What's her name? Diamond Miller?
Diamond Miller, yeah.
Do they have walk-up music in basketball when they go to the free throw line? Because they should.
They should.
Hers would be, Diamond Girl, do. You sure shoot fine, do. Diamond Girl.
Or there's a Rihanna song. I think is it Rihanna? No, it's Sia. Shine bright like a diamond.
Can you do that in falsetto?
Shine bright like a diamond.
Yeah, I don't know if I kind of like the Seals and Cross one better, but again, do we have any indication how serious the back injury is?
Don't know. No indication.
To me, that is, you know how I feel. Look, if we know why the Commissioner's Cups in the NBA and WNBA were invented, to try to make teams try harder during the early part of the season. Because for those that doubt me and think that I pick on the NBA, you're just a hater. They try hard. It's like they had to create an extra tournament and pay the players extra money if they win just to try to get them to try extra hard during the early season games. And don't tell me that's not why they did it. That's exactly why they did it. I didn't think they needed to do it in the WNBA, but apparently they do. So if you think that's exciting, that's great. I don't. For me, it's the biggest news coming out of there is MVP because if this back injury is, a week, a couple of games, a week, maybe 2 weeks, or maybe I don't hope it's not more serious. Or what if it's one of those nagging ones? Plays for a couple of days, out for a couple of days. So that to me, that's the biggest news to come out.
Is the cause of the injury from carrying the team on her back?
That could be too.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it plays out.
Question number 3.
All Vikings, let's win this game. You'll hear us yell for more.
It's now time to take an in-depth look at the state of the Skull.
The Star Tribune today analyzed the Vikings' top 5 position battles ahead of training camp. They listed cornerback, interior defensive line, wide receiver, punt returner, and backup quarterback. Common, what position battle are you most interested in?
I think starting quarterback is still up for grabs. Why isn't that listed? What if Sammy Howell is slinging it all over the ball yard? I don't know. What were the? I think for me, and again, it's all just it's on paper. They acquired 4 players via free agency, 2 interior offensive linemen, 2 interior defensive linemen that both have nice resumes. I think all 4 are coming off injuries. If they can play like they're capable of or have in the past, then I have no concerns about either line, really. Wide receiver core should be good. I like our running backs. I still think the biggest question mark is the quarterback. But as far as battles, I would think defensive back. I was really hoping we were going to get Jair, but he went to the Ravens. So
by the way, the financials on it, it's 1 year, $4 million with $2 million in incentives. So it could be up to $6 million, but that's not a lot of money. So now that I know the price tag, I'm even more disappointed the Vikings did not get Jair Alexander. Because they definitely could have afforded that. I think that's a good low risk, high reward. Well, I shouldn't say low risk with him. I mean, I guess he could maybe derail the team a little bit, but high reward there for a small amount of money.
Like the Ravens need help defensively. You know what we call that? The rich getting richer.
Yeah, the rich get richer.
Question number 3. Vision for the division.
I love the dramatic music.
Yeah, we're on our second division for our Vision for the Division series that we'll do throughout the offseason. We've already done the AFC East, so we'll move on. Stick in the AFC. Comment, who's going to win the AFC South? You've got Tennessee Titans, Houston Texans, Indianapolis Colts, and Jacksonville Jaguars. Historically, one of the worst divisions in football.
What an awful division. 4 teams that I don't think I'd ever watch unless the Vikings or Lions were playing them. I would never watch a game involving those teams, would you? I just can't.
No.
It does nothing for me. What are they again? I guess Houston. I like their quarterback. I don't know. How about you? I mean, you kind of dabble in fantasy football a little bit. You do Purple Prey. You're a Vikings extended family member, master control supervisor. Are saying that you're probably a little bit more up to date on these teams. Who do you think would?
Well, I mean, it should be Houston. The quarterback you mentioned, very good, promising rookie season, and then Stroud regressed a little bit in year 2. I don't think he took the leap up. I think there are people that just thought he was going to be a top 5 quarterback year 2, and he came back to the pack a little bit. But given the rest of the division, right? I mean, Indianapolis probably is going to have Daniel Jones starting for him at quarterback, and they lost some interior offensive linemen to the Vikings. Jacksonville could be interesting. I just don't know. I mean, this is kind of last chance for Trevor Lawrence here, isn't it, in terms of what we think of him? He's shown nothing more than really just being the middle of the road quarterback up until this point. But they got Travis Hunter up high in the draft. They moved up for him. Brian Thomas Jr. had a phenomenal rookie year, so he's got some good young talent to work with. We'll still see, but he needs to prove that he's a player that was drafted number 1 overall. And after that, you've got Tennessee, which looks to be awful, but I guess if Cam Ward gives you like a Jaden Daniels type rookie season, then maybe they can jump up and surprise some people. Yeah. But it should be a division where only one team's going to the playoffs out of that division, and I would put my money on the Houston Texans.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 questions. Well, actually 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
Here's my guess. While you were breaking down the NFC South, Meat Sauce was probably sending me a text. I'm going to check saying, you're not listening to a word Tennebee's saying. You're eating your lunch.
And it's accurate.
I didn't hear a word you said. Do you think
that's how I knew you were done with the Vikings question, is I got done talking and you were in the middle of eating something. So I guess we're moving on to the next question.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think if Trevor Lawrence cut his hair, he'd be a better quarterback? I'd give it a try. Though I used to have long hair like that, too. But I wasn't very successful back then either, so maybe if he cut his hair. Cut your hair, long hair. We'll pause. We'll come back. I don't know, I might do some lazy list radio. I got a couple of other tricks up my sleeve. It's your best guess what I got coming next, but stick around. It'll be good.
I did text you some stuff this morning,
I saw it. I saw it. I just glanced at it. But we'll take a look at some of that. A little of this, a little of that with the emphasis of a lot here on The Fan.
You know what's great about your investment account with the big guys? It's actually a time machine. Log in and zoom. Welcome back to 1999. It's time for an upgrade. At Public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind at Public.com. Go to Public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at Public.com/disclosures.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/iHeart.
Come on. Why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra-light, ultra-powerful, and built for serious productivity with Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance that keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Whoa, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com. Lenovo. Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Oh, but then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Head over to our contest page at KFAN.com and enter for your chance to win a 2-night stay at Breezy Point Resort for 4, including golf, all thanks to Custom One. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest, enter today.
Just remember, when it's breezy, swing easy. That's what Greg Norman once said. When it's breezy, swing easy. And it ain't easy being easy, but we're easy here on the Common Man program. For the longest time, it seemed like Aaron Rodgers was in the news every single day. So often we actually came up with an open that was something like Mayday, 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 Mayday in Green Bay. More controversy surrounding Aaron Rodgers. He's been replaced now by Kevin Durant. It seems like every day he's in the news about will he stay or will he go? And if he does go, where will he go? I came up with a great idea at 10. It's called Dirt on Durantula. No.
Dish. Dirt would be great, too.
Yeah.
That would have worked.
That would have worked. The discerning listener realizes I didn't come up with this, that you did, right? When I say I came up with this great idea, they don't comment. You didn't come up with any idea. You never do. I haven't come up with anything in 20 years. Well, let's do Dish on Durant.
It's time now.
Kevin Durant way outside. Delivers!
For the latest Dish on Durant.
I like it. Though I would have liked Dirt.
Yeah.
Even though
that would have been good.
Dirt usually means it's something bad, right? Like it's rumor.
Sure.
Usually, but anyway. Hold on. And then you gave me the dirt. Not only did you think of the segment, come up with the open, get the open done, but then you also provided me with the dirt. And it says This is somebody called Evan Sidery. He writes,
Who?
The Timberwolves are, he's got a blue check mark, so it must be important. The Timberwolves.
Well, you can pay for those now these days, but yeah.
The Timberwolves, but he thinks he's important. Let's
sure.
say it that way. The Timberwolves are internally debating whether to pull the trigger on a Kevin Durant trade, even with him not preferring to be there, per at Windhorst ESPN. Podcast.
Above average at that.
My feel is that if the Timberwolves wanted it, they can probably get a trade for Durant done. The only thing, and like you said yesterday, well, he'd be turning his back on a lot of money, but players have done this before. They say, over my dead body, I've got no win. I'll just sit out here. I'm going to retire. But my guess is if they did cut it, and remember, I think most people feel that Phoenix has got to do what's best for the franchise. We talked about this. We used Stafford as an example. I think the Lions, it worked out in the interest of all three parties, the Rams, Stafford, and the Lions. Stafford didn't have to sit in purgatory anymore and get beaten to a pulp for a losing organization. He got a chance to go win a big game playing for a really good team, and he did. And the Rams got a quarterback that they needed to get him over the hump to win a big game, and they did. And the Lions ended up getting a lot of good players, and they've made themselves into a contending team. That was one of those trades that worked for all three parties. For Stafford, even for Goff, I guess, as well, because obviously he wasn't wanted there anymore. And I think part of it was, I mean, I don't think the only reason Detroit did it was because they felt bad for Matty Stafford, but I think that was part. It's like, the guys, let's let him go somewhere else, and we can get a lot for him. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do it. And, I don't think Stafford had, he said all the right things. Detroit's been my home. We love everybody here. We'll never forget you. But I'm sure he couldn't wait to get out of town and go to a different organization. So maybe Durant if Phoenix says, even though the Wolves aren't on Durant's wish list, we can't worry about that and we'll trade him. And I think we had some reports the last day or two that says the Vikings, including this one, the Timberwolves are internally debating whether to pull the trigger on Kevin Durant. And I even remember, didn't we have a couple of reports that they definitely wanted to? They were very interested.
So that's what I think. I think what's interesting is and I know you got more to dish. I think the Timberwolves want him. I think Phoenix looks at Timberwolves as having the best trade offers. And that's why you've seen Durant or Durant's representatives leaking, hey, he doesn't want to play there. He doesn't want to play there. Here's his ideal locations. Because it's not like Phoenix is going to let that information go, right?
Yes.
It's coming from Durant's camp. So Phoenix has said from the get-go, hey, we want a big man. Wolves have one or two of them that they could offer up. And the Wolves, out of all those teams, are probably in most we need to win now mode, or we have a chance to win it now, so they're going to be the most aggressive.
Then NBA Central at the Dunk Central. Slam dunk. Slam dunk. The Timberwolves, this is via the Athletic NBA Daily at Gorman Kristoff, whoever that may be. And I think somebody named Sam Amick. All these different people have
Sam Amick, I know.
Okay. Says the Timberwolves are not really going to put much on the table in Kevin Durant trade talks unless Durant wants to come, per Sam Amick. It says Minnesota's not going to play ball until they get a signal that Kevin wants to play here. And that would make sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's like
you have to give up a lot and pay him a lot. You better make sure he wants to be here.
Yeah. But as you say, if they called him up, called his agent and said, we've just traded Kevin, your client, to the Minnesota Timberwolves, what are they going to do about it? The only thing you could do about it is mope and pout, and who's going to do that? You could for a while, but what good is that going to do you? You've been traded. The only thing you can do is sit out. And as you say, most guys aren't going to sit out when they got $60 million coming.
Yeah.
So he would probably play, but I am one of those.
You don't know if you're getting everything from him.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys that, if you don't want to be here, that's fine then. I'm looking at you when I say that, tend to be.
I can leave.
If you like, I'd rather you didn't, but I understand if you do. I understand.
I got that $60 million coming my way. That's why I'm staying.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, so there you go. What did we call that again? Dirty. No.
It's time now.
Kevin Durant way outside. Delivers!
For the latest dish on Durant.
I like it. We'll probably have more tomorrow. No Rock Talk today. Brian Hoke had a couple of things come up. He said he's available tomorrow. Should we do Rock Talk tomorrow? I got nothing to read.
Sure.
If you think I got very little today, tomorrow's even going to be worse. So
the other part you missed on the dish on Durant was the alleged trade proposal.
Oh. Well, let's do that on the other side of the break.
Yeah,
I like it. I should probably look at your text when you send it. I just glanced at it real quick. I was playing Woodhill today. Didn't go well. 45 on the front. No! Then I made 2 birdies on the back and had it going a little bit. I think 4 over on the back, so much better. They're doing a renovation out there, removing a lot of trees like they've done on a lot. I give it the unofficial ambassador's seal of approval. I like what they've done out at Woodhill. We'll break. We'll come back with some more dishing on Durant here on the Common Man program on The Fan.
You know what's great about your investment account with the big guys? It's actually a time machine. Log in and zoom. Welcome back to 1999. It's time for an upgrade. At Public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind at Public.com. Go to Public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at Public.com/disclosures.
Come on. Why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra-light, ultra-powerful, and built for serious productivity with Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance that keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Whoa, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/iHeart.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Oh, but then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
He's a couple 13-14 past on Common. He is 10 and B. The legendary Mark Rosen waiting in the wings to join us. Talk a little of this, that, lat. Got a new segment. We just debuted last segment. Let's do it again. It's time now for some dirt on Durant.
It's time now.
Kevin Durant way outside. Delivers.
For the latest dish on Durant.
Could you tell Diego to make those opens a little bit longer, though? I mean, if you got to add 10 or 15 seconds, got to eat up more time.
Yeah, you got to have like the on both sides of it.
Exactly. Long explanations. Really give us a lot.
Yeah.
Something called full court pass, not full court press. Who are these people? I mean, how do they know this? This is what Gambo 987. Who's Gambo 987? There's a buddy I text and talk with more than most, and he claims he gets all of his news from Twitter. I can't think of a worse place to get your news. Who's Gambo 987?
John Gambadoro, longtime afternoon drive sports radio talk show host on Arizona Sports 98.7 FM in Phoenix. Now, we know they've lied before.
Right. Yeah.
In Phoenix.
That was the one where we threw out a rumor, and they said that they had it from a source inside the commissioner's office. They make it up as they go along. So Gambo 987. I mean, maybe he knows, but this is what he says: the Timberwolves' current trade proposal for Kevin Durant. Now, how does the guy in Phoenix know what the Wolves are offering up? But this is what
he's got the Phoenix source.
Yeah, but does he really know? Does he really have a Phoenix source? He says Rudy Gobert.
Depends if he's Mark Rosen-like or John Krasinski-like.
Rudy Gobert, Dante. Do we want to today? What do you want to do? DiVincenzo or DiVincenzo? Which one do you want to go with for pronunciation?
I don't know, but whoever put it on here spelled it wrong. I do know that.
I'll leave it to you, though. What do you want? DiVincenzo or DiVincenzo today?
Let's go DiVincenzo.
Okay. Rudy Gobert, Dante DiVincenzo, Rob Dillingham, and or Terrence Shannon Jr., and a 17th pick.
Huh? 17th overall, yeah.
The 17th, the 17th pick, and a courtside seat between A-Rod and Laurie. That's what the offer is.
Seems like a lot.
Well,
I'm willing to acquire Durantula, but not for that.
No.
Especially the and or. Definitely not the and. Dillingham and Terrence Shannon.
Who do you like better, Dillingham or Terrence Shannon Jr. right now? I know that Dillingham hasn't played as much.
I was going to say, I've only really seen Terrence Shannon Jr. play. I haven't seen a whole lot of Dillingham.
Which guy do you like better?
Terrence Shannon, the spots that we saw him in the playoffs, I liked him a lot.
So if it was,
I think he should be in the rotation next year.
So if it was Gobert, DiVincenzo,
but Dillingham is. You ask Mark Rosen, that's a position of need.
So if it's Gobert, DiVincenzo, Dillingham, and the 17th pick, would you do it? Leaving out Shannon.
That's too much.
If it was Gobert, DiVincenzo, and Dillingham, would you do it?
If it was Gobert, DiVincenzo, and the 17th pick, I would do it.
If you got it, there must be a better offer out there than that, though, from somebody else, right? I mean, I don't even know. I don't know. He
is up there in age a little bit.
So is Gobert. I don't know what to make of Gobert, to be honest with you. I mean, I read I think it was Suhan did a piece on Gobert. And he had some numbers in there. And I think his offensive numbers, or just his numbers overall, were a little down from the previous year. He doesn't seem to be. Suhan's solution to get more out of Gobert, particularly offensively, is get a jugs machine and have him use it during the offseason. That's what he said it. No, I'm not making it up.
I always love that one.
You work on his eye-hand coordination. I don't think you can teach it.
At this age.
Yeah, you can't teach an old dog new tricks very often. I mean, so Gobert, he's kind of a liability offensively.
Kind of.
You saw what happened when he would leave the court, the Thunder would just go downhill all day long. So I don't, and Gobert he's a boatload of money, right?
Yes.
Why would Phoenix? Now, I know Phoenix said they'd like a big man, but do they? And I'm not saying that Gobert doesn't serve a purpose and doesn't have talent and might still have plenty left. He's been a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's a great rim protector, and then you get a 3-point guy like Dante, who he runs hot and cold. Durant is one of the best shooters of all time. And it's not like, somebody sent me a text message here that said, I like the way it was wrote. I don't know if I believe it, but I like the way he worded it. He said, I'd rather have a Kevin Durant trading card than the real thing. He's dusty, old, and washed up, worst defensive player in the league. He's like 156 pounds soaking wet, and he's never soaking wet because he doesn't try hard enough to break us wet. Offensively, he can still put the biscuit in the basket. I think he averaged 26-something. That's a lot of points. So he can still score. He's an elite scorer still. But, it seems to me if you're giving up, let's say you give up even part of this package. Let's just say they give up Gobert, DiVincenzo, and Dillingham. Let's just say they do that.
Yep.
If you don't, I don't know. Can Durantula win you? Is Durant, if you subtract those people, add Durantula, you might do something else in the offseason. Does that improve your team enough where you go, now we can get over that Western Conference Finals hump? I don't know if it can. I just don't know. It'd be fun to see. I said this when they traded for Gobert. I don't know if it's a good idea or not. Matter of fact, I don't think it is. But because we've been so bad for so many years, I'm willing to try anything. Well, now, after getting to the Western Conference Finals back-to-back years, both were 4-1 losses, right? We were gentlemanly swept. I guess I'm willing to try something else too. So if and because I guess I shouldn't say this, working at the All Sports station that is a broadcast partner with the Wolves, I don't care enough. So I'm willing to give it a shot. I would do it. Now again, that might be too rich of a deal, but I would try to figure out a way to get him, and let's try it. I don't know what else we have to lose. I don't think bringing back what we have now. I don't know. You can say, well, Randall ran hot and cold, and when he was hot, we were really good. When he came back from his injury, he was a real good number 2 option for Anthony. But can he do that again? And does he want to be? Does he hold one of those options, a player option, where he can make the decision if he wants to come back? I think it's up to him. So then he has to want to come back. I don't know why he wouldn't. He had a real nice role here. Got to the Western Cup, but I don't know if he brought back this team as is. Maybe an additional player, like he gets some kind of a younger point guard to let Dillingham play more, as Rosen suggested. Does that get you excited enough to say, yeah, I'd go back one more time at that? But do you look at the West and look at, well, you got the Thunder, and who knows what Golden State will do? I don't know. Does Jimmy Bucket stay there, and will Curry come back fresh? What are the Lakers going to do? There's Houston's a pretty good club. You have good teams in the West.
Where's the Greek Freak going to go?
Yeah, and so you say to yourself, is bringing back what we have now and some minor additions enough to get you excited? I don't know if it is for me. I don't.
I think when Connolly first took over, to me it looked like the blueprint was we need a team that can compete with the Denver Nuggets, right? So
I agree.
We had our big 3 of Gobert and Big Meow and Naz Reid, and Denver's still pretty darn good, right? I mean, they've given OKC the best series of anybody, but they maybe don't look like this team over the next 4, 5, 6 years that it's going to be hard to beat them. Now it looks like OKC's that type of team, right? Like, not only is OKC likely to win this year, but they're young. They're young, wild, and free. They should be good for the future. So now, does Connolly, he shifted away from Big Meow last year. Does he go, hey, we need to come up with a team that can beat OKC?
Right, yeah.
And Rudy Gobert is a good player. You mentioned the offensive liabilities. The problem is you get into certain playoff series, and there might be, he becomes a little bit of a matchup problem at times. And I think he was a matchup issue against OKC. And defensively, when you start playing teams like that, you need to be able to rotate and switch guys. Like we saw Luka expose him 2 years ago when he was with Dallas. There were times he was caught against Chet Holmgren and Shea this last year. And then he has issues. So he might just be one of those really good regular season players and might be good for you in the playoffs depending on the matchup. But then when you get in the wrong matchup, now you got a guy making that much money that can't be on the court in key situations.
Can I give you a PA? Yeah.
So even though Naz Reid, I guess, had a down year compared to where he was a year ago, he's just a little more versatile, and I would be fine with, let's move on Gobert, try to help elsewhere, and give Naz more of a role. And find another, what do you call them, potatoes? What do you call them?
Potatoes.
Yeah, find another potato somewhere.
Yeah.
Like Hartenstein. Was Hartenstein for OKC? Like he's competent.
He's serviceable, very serviceable.
I mean, you can find a serviceable guy like that
He
somewhere.
takes up space. He can score a little bit. He plays defense, makes rebounds. What did you say about Nas Reid? I mean, didn't he kind of have a not as good a year this year?
I would say he went down a little bit this last year.
Do we still? I know we love Nas. He's a folk hero in this town. Do we think he can rebound? I don't mean rebound the basketball. I mean, do you think he can rebound from? He was sixth man of the year 2 years ago. Then he wasn't as good this year. Can he get back more towards sixth man of the year, or do you think?
I think he can. Yeah.
So we still trust him.
It's not like he's old and aging and just can't. Like he's still a relatively young man, so he still has a lot of prime left in him.
So in Nas, we trust
enough, yeah.
And we trust Rose.
But in that situation, it's Ant, it's potentially Durant, Jaden McDaniels. It's not like Nas has to be a superhero at that spot.
Do we trust Rosen's intuition that he thinks? Do you think Rob Dillingham can be the answer? I don't know.
I didn't see enough of him.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But he was very young when they acquired him, and I think we knew at the time he's more of an upside guy than a guy who's going to help you right now. So it's just a matter of how long it'll take for him to come along. But when you draft a guy that high, you got to give him a chance. Right? I mean, that's your Conley replacement plan. That was your plan a year ago. So unless you've already given up on that, I think you need to take more of a look on that moving forward.
You know when I said yesterday that these professional sports franchises don't come up for sale very often? And we've talked about the Twins allegedly being for sale. I saw a story out of St. Pete that says the Tampa Bay Rays say they are in exclusive discussions with a Florida investment group for a potential sale of that team. The Rays are valued at The Rays are valued at $1.25 billion, according to Forbes magazine. Stuart Sternberg bought the Major League Club in 2004 for $200 million. $200 million he bought it for. Forbes says it's worth $1.25 billion. Is that called ROI, return on investment?
Every sports franchise is, yes, the best investment.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers announced that the team has recently commenced exclusive discussions with a group led by Patrick Zalupski, Billy Cosgrove, Kenny Babby, and prominent Tampa Bay investors concerning a possible sale of the team. Of course, they don't have a ballpark, right?
Not right now.
So I don't know how that...
It's under repairs.
How that... I don't know how that fly... This is the second year, time I've used the phrase fly in the ointment, how that fly in the ointment affects the sale. We talked about the Twins tend to be, and I talked to a friend of mine. I was talking with a friend of mine, said a woman had hurt his pride. He was going to let her go. And we were talking about the Twins and the potential sale. And his theory is the Twins really aren't for sale. Because if you're asking 1.7 and then that $400 million leverage debt, because what the Twins, if I understand it correctly, this is what people tell me, they are saying, Tenneby, we'll sell the team to you for $1.7 billion, but you also have to take on that $400 million debt, which means that their asking price is really $2.1 billion, which basically means they're not for sale because no one's going to pay $2.1.
So I didn't know they were asking the other team to take on that debt. I just thought that was part of why the price was high.
No, I think that's what they want to do.
I just thought that's why they're being picky on the price point.
Nope. Not from what I understand.
Well, that's why they don't have anyone buying it yet.
That's what I'm saying. So my point is what my friend said, and I think he's right the way he says it. Really, that means they're not for sale because nobody's going to buy the team for that. So I can tell you, Tenneby, my place in Woodbury is for sale for $25 million. That means it's not for sale because no one would pay that.
I always love that one.
So
would you sell it if someone did?
Well, yes. I'd answer the phone anyways. But so they're really not for sale. And then when you add on top remember what Joe said when he said, well, if we sell the team, I'd still like to be the guy running it.
John Bonus has texted me saying, my understanding is that you are right and Common is wrong.
Oh, really?
That they're not asking the other team to take it on. They're just saying we need the price to be X because we owe this much money. So for them to profit.
Okay, well, then you know what I am right about then? The 1.7 million, if it's worth 1.5 and they want 1.7, somebody will, then the price point is not a sticking point. It can't be. If you have enough money to pay 1.5, and again, these teams don't come up very often. Now, I just mentioned Tampa Bay is also for sale. I don't think that's going to stop somebody and go, nope, 1.7, that's where I draw the line at 1.5. I will not go to 1.7. If you don't have to take over that debt and make it a 2.1 sale, then I don't think that's the sticking point. But I don't know what else it could be. But I just don't think, when you're talking about that kind of money and the wherewithal of these, most of these people that are buying clubs are worth $4, $5, $10, $20 billion. I just don't see where that would make that big of a difference, but maybe I'm wrong. What does Bonus say now? What does Bonus think?
He just said what I said. That
right, but I mean, what does he think about? I want you to ask him.
Well, he's listening, so you can ask him yourself.
Well, then you text him, and then he'll come back to you. Okay, I have another money guy that just texted me. I've got a lot of people that understand money.
Including the guy who just walked in the room?
What did I do?
They would still sell at 1.25. They need out. The bulk of their wealth is tied to the commercial real estate, which is in the tank. That's why they want out.
It's not a good time for commercial real estate.
Here's another thing that's not a good time for buying a team like the Minnesota Twins. That's a terrible team in a terrible city with terrible fans. That's an awful ball club right now. They're just not very good.
I'd buy him if I had $1.5 billion.
I'd kick the tires on a couple of other franchises, see if they want to sell that Tigers club. I'd like to buy that Tigers club. I'd even buy that Guardians organization. I don't know about the Twins.
Yeah, but most of the reason for the Twins' poor performance is tied to the owner, so you wouldn't be able to influence that. You'd be able to spend your big fat stacks of program-provided cash any way you want. Bring in that ace pitcher before the trade deadline.
Sounds like you like this Twins club.
No, I just think a lot of their issues is ownership related.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I'd still rather have the Tigers. Of course, they'd be asking a lot more for them, wouldn't they? Didn't Pizza Guy sell them a long time ago anyway? Does Pizza Guy still own them? Not Papa John's guy, the other guy, Domino's. Didn't the Domino's guy own both the Tigers and the Red Wings?
I thought Papa John's is Red Wings.
No, I think it's...
Their rink is Papa John's Arena.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Papa John's, better pizza, better ingredients, Papa John's. I thought he got in some legal trouble allegedly, didn't he? I don't remember. Well, let's do what Rosen says. He's got all the answers. You know that. That's why he's in the Pavitt.
And the inside information.
He's got inside
information.
He's
an insider.
He's a Hall of Famer. He's a fraud, too, but to get in the Hall of Fame and be an insider, you got to be fraudulent. So, more power to him. He'll join us next here on the Common Man program on The Fan.
Let your imagination take flight with an AI-powered PC from Lenovo. Whether it's creating digital art, designing new software, or building a portfolio for a future career, our PCs are powered by Intel Core Ultra processors to help students unlock smarter learning and unleash their creativity. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. All you have to do is choose the one that fits your passion. Head to Lenovo.com to shop AI PCs and find your perfect companion. Plus, get 5% off when you create an education account.
You know what's great about your investment account with the big guys? It's actually a time machine. Log in and zoom. Welcome back to 1999. It's time for an upgrade. At Public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind at Public.com. Go to Public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at Public.com/disclosures.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer. the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com, ODOO.com.
Saks Off 5th, up to 70% off every day. Summer is in full swing here at Saks Off 5th with so many exciting trends to try. From matching sets and floral dresses to wide leg jeans and chic accessories, find all of this season's must-have styles. Plus, shop new designer arrivals weekly. Find Gucci, Valentino Garavani, Versace, Stuart Weitzman, and more. Head to SaksOff5th.com or a Saks Off 5th store near you for up to 70% off every day.